All right, everyone, we start off today. I mean, there's so much that I have to talk about. I might end up making 5 videos today just on YouTube, plus the BitChute exclusive, so it's going to be a little bit hectic here. But we've got to start off talking about Michael Flynn. You're not seeing much about it in the legacy media. They sort of, for 15 minutes, they covered it and then went back to their regularly scheduled doldrums, worrying about a Trump depression. You see, it's a Trump economy now because it's not doing as well because of the government, largely. I'm sure it'll be the Obama economy in a couple months, by the way. But Michael Flynn has been utterly vindicated at this point. The DOJ has stepped in, dropped, apparently, the charges of lying against to the FBI. Here's what happened. Michael Flynn allegedly conducted himself improperly to act as a semi-official political conduit with Turkey and also with Russia. That there was dealing going on that violated our laws because, of course, unless you are officially authorized to do such deals, to do such business with a foreign country, it is illegal for a U.S. citizen to act as a diplomatic authority without being given leave in the proper way. And he allegedly did. Then when he was talking to the FBI under some degree of duress, he supposedly lied to the FBI. Now, the DOJ at this point is saying they can't even retroactively determine that he actually lied in the first place, because you have this FBI release that we got some days ago that, again, the legacy media has totally goddamn covered up. Almost nobody knows this even fucking exists. The FBI had open questions in their internal proceedings, were wondering whether it was actually lies he was telling or not. That is essentially what happened, is that the charges against him going forward that would have resulted presumably in some jail time, I'm not sure what sentence he would have been looking at, because Papadopoulos lied to the FBI, admitted it, served 2 weeks in a county jail, so keep that in mind. It's not the worst crime in the world. Michael Flynn, apparently, they were at one point insinuating that they would go after his family. Of course, you can get dragged through the ringer relentlessly for federal charges. The problem is this: a lot of the people out there reacting to this, like people with Trump derangement syndrome, are like, well, he pled guilty. Yes, you don't understand how the U.S. justice system, so-called, of course, works. Everything is heavily tilted in favor of the prosecution. The government can sit there and put you on a fucking monkey trial for 6 months or even a year, ruining your life and your finances in the process. Essentially what happens is most cases in the U.S., and most people don't realize this, end in a plea deal. Whether the person's guilty or not. If a person thinks, any competent lawyer is going to tell them, look, you can either go through hell for the next 6 months, and it's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and this is for a misdemeanor level, sort of a state case or something. Can't even imagine felony level charges at the highest level of the government. You're going to ruin your finances. They might cast the net wider. They will do everything they can to intimidate and undercut you. The prosecution can walk around freely, do whatever the hell they want. You, meanwhile, probably can't even talk about the case. They'll fucking fire off a gag order. You'll be a sitting duck, and even if you are completely goddamn innocent, if they have leisure to go through everything in your personal life, trust me, you jaywalked once. Maybe you cheated on your taxes a little bit. Maybe you stole a pack of gum. Whatever you did, they're going to find it out, and they'll goddamn crush you. Take the plea deal. So instead of having, 4 or 5 charges of lying to the FBI, you stack those up, it becomes a longer sentence, potentially. Flynn's not a young dude, he doesn't want to go to jail at all. He just pleads guilty to 1 count of lying to the FBI and awaits sentencing. Now, for some time now, because, of course, we've had more and more evidence that this whole trial is a goddamn farce, it's a literal witch hunt, a la the Comey era, which was the biggest witch hunt in modern political history, resulting, by the way, in no evidence of actual foreign meddling in our election. It's amazing how many people still, to this day, believe that Comey found evidence of meddling. None really was found. A Russian troll farm buying a Facebook ad is not the same as the initial positing, which was that Russia literally tilted the election in Trump's favor. That was the initial sort of scope that they were talking about. We found out it was much more diminutive than that. Michael Flynn, here's the big thing. Even if Michael Flynn is provably lied to the FBI, what the DOJ is further saying, and this is the further vindication of him. The further vindication is that they've said it wouldn't be material even if he did lie. We can't determine that, number one, which is why we're dropping the case, but even if he did, it doesn't matter, because we shouldn't have been investigating him at that point anyway, because it wasn't germane to what we were actually looking into. We never should have been talking to about this. You can't just... Essentially what happened was entrapment. The FBI basically lured him in and tried to get him to lie. Now, keep in mind, people on the left are always talking about, well, the cops planted crack on this black dude. The cops entrapped this woman. Yes, entrapment occurs. Most often, if it can be shown that there was an element of entrapment, by the way, the person goes off scot-free, even if they pled guilty. People are acting like it's the gold standard of the legal system that Flynn pled guilty, but his lawyer probably encouraged him to. Hey, take the goddamn lesser charge. You're not going to go to federal prison for the rest of your life. You'll be out fairly soon. You know, your reputations may be ruined in this political climate, but other than that, they'll seek, you know, you won't be in jail for that long, so don't worry about it. Now those charges are all gone. As far as I know, that means he's a free man, free and clear, and of course double jeopardy laws apply, so he's not going to go to jail at any further time for this either. He never should have had to go through these, 2 years now of living hell? It was funny also, they said, well, Trump fired him. Trump said he lied to the FBI. Again, the DOJ has determined that under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been investigated at the time anyway. Therefore, any lying that occurred is not pertinent to any legal case because he shouldn't have had to talk to the FBI to begin with. He didn't obstruct, didn't do anything that disrupted an actual legitimate case, so who cares? And this is the DOJ. And then they say, well, the Attorney General Barr is overseeing this and he's a Trump crony. Barr has the latitude that he needs to be able to do what he needs to do. Apparently, they decided it was a bad idea to continue tarnishing the FBI's reputation by dragging this one dude who really didn't do anything wrong, and if he did, wasn't pertinent to any investigation at the time. Spending millions of dollars continuing to harass this dude makes no goddamn sense. And again, and by the way, if Barr was just trying to please Trump by dropping these charges, and Trump defending him lately, it is funny because, of course, Trump at the time said, oh, well, he did a bad thing. He lied, and then I had to fire him because he's a nitwit. It's very funny. I personally find nothing wrong with Flynn. He's been completely vindicated. It's time for the left to eat a little bit of crow because it was considered you were a conspiracy theory months ago if you were talking about how you believed that Flynn probably wasn't the devil incarnate. And it's funny because you'd bring it up and they'd say, well, no, he lied to the FBI and Russia. The Russia thing fell flat. There's a reason the legacy media almost never brings up Mueller or Comey or any of these people anymore because they got goddamn trashed. The whole thing was a sham. It was years and millions of dollars utterly wasted. It was a complete waste of the nation's time. It was a distraction that was designed solely for political reasons to attack Trump and to go after anyone around him in any way possible, including Michael Flynn, often on very little charges. Again, they put out these lists like, oh, look at all the people in the Trump admin that have gone to jail. Papadopoulos still appears on those lists. He spent 2 weeks in a county jail on one count of lying to the FBI with the idea that he was trying to cover his ass because there was a portrait of Donald Trump looking at him at the time. That's not exactly treason now, is it? That's about all. Peace out.